One day. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this meeting of Denby Parish Council Finance Administration and Personnel Committee on the 23rd of August at 7:30. The first item on the agenda is fire exits. We don't have any members of staff here, and I'm fully aware that all councillors are aware where the, any members of the public present, and everybody else in the room is aware of where the fire exits are. Everybody is also aware that we are recording, which is item 2 on the agenda. Item 3 is apologies, and we have received apologies from Councillor Bacini this evening. Item 4 is declarations of interest. Arising from this agenda, members and officers are invited to declare any relevant interest. Notwithstanding this item, members may subsequently declare an interest at any point during the meeting. Are there any declarations of interest from members this evening? Thank you very much. So we move on to item 5, minutes of the previous meeting. To receive and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the meeting held on the 12th of July 23. To receive and approve. They have been circulated previously. Is everybody agreed that I should sign those as a true record of the meeting? That's unanimous. Thank you. I will do so. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Item 6 is public participation, and we don't have any members present, so we'll move on to item 7, which is financial. 7.1 is orders for payment. To consider and approve the orders for payment, list 7, which has been circulated previously. So everybody had a chance to look at this? Can I have a show of hands? All those agreed that I should sign. Thank you very much. That's also unanimous. Thank you, Sarah. Item 7.2 is the accounts. To note that the accounts for July 2023 have been issued and previously circulated as at 31st of July 2023. So we note those and thank the RFO. Item 7.3 is bank reconciliations. To receive and agree the bank balances previously circulated as of 31st of July. And to confirm the balances, onto the chairman to sign. For the Lloyds, current account number 2333468 with a balance of £141,683.03, and the cooperative current account number 6580791 with a balance of £43,359.67. Can I have a show of hands? All those that agree I should sign. Thank you. Thank you. And that's Lloyd's, thank you. Item 7.4 is Hodge Bank, account number 985700, under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme eligibility. The Chairman and Vice Chairman are to sign the form to confirm that DPC meet the eligibility criteria. This is the scheme that protects our money up to £85,000 under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Is everybody agreed that Councillor Andrioli and I should sign? Thank you. Councillor Andrioli, thank you. Thank you very much. If you could pass that on to Jenny, please. Thank you. Item 7.5, the Hampshire Trust Bank, account number 112-14858. Statement of account to confirm that this account has now been closed and the funds have been transferred to the Lloyds current account number 2333468, minute reference 04324C2. So we note that. Item 8, provision of the caretaker role. Interviews took place on the 17th of July and nobody was appointed at this stage to receive a report from the clerk.
You've all seen the report. Nobody turned up to the interviews. I think it was a tick box exercise for people on Indeed. We are still advertising and looking. We have been covering it really well until obviously Sam goes on leave. The future provision is that we continue with the head groundsman covering, which Sam does like to do because he likes to keep an eye on things, especially with all the ASBO stuff going on at the moment, to put a rota system in place with the grounds team to cover it. So this is one idea that's been floated, and actually the grounds team are covering quite a lot over the next 10 days for each other. The team has settled down quite nicely, and it is Sam and I would like to sit down with them and offer them all a weekend. So it would be once every 6 to 7 weeks, depending on that they would cover the opening and closing of the gate. Sam would continue to close the gates during the week because in the winter we are not worried by the gates closing and having someone to man it because we close them when they go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm asking that point 5, that those 3 points are carried forward and that Sam and I manage it as best we can. Obviously, coming to you and the Vice Chair, if, as this week, we've not been able to cover, but just to say that a few of our groundsmen have covered 3 or 4 days a week. Dan is covering the on-call phone next week, so, but with some holidays it's difficult.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Andrioli?
Yeah, it's okay regarding locking and unlocking, but the caretaker role is to cover things like football, etc., which is longer hours than just locking and unlocking the gates. We have in the past had occasion when we didn't have cover to ask the ground staff to cover for a period, and yes, they'll do it for a while, and then they tend to get fed up with doing it, which is understandable because they end up doing sort of 12 days on the trot.
Yeah, this is not a process that we would expect them to be doing it all the time. And with cricket and football, we've just been locking and unlocking. We've not been staying with them. Now the DFIB is outside, which was the only reason that we stayed. So it's not a long, I would say that point 2, to put a rota, is not the long-term solution, but it has to be the solution until we can employ somebody. And I do agree that caretaking would be the best option.
Councillor Brown?
And we do also have to be careful that we, our grounds team, they have to agree that the ground is fit to be used. So that is one role they have to do.
So we need to continue to try and recruit. Have we put the job advert out on all the notice boards around the village?
Yeah, it's been out and looked down 3 or 4 times, unfortunately. But yes, it's out on social media, it's at the top of the website pinned, it's on Indeed, it's still out there. I'm hoping that once the summer's over and people are back to school and work, that we might get some people in to look at it. So, but in the meantime, this is a solution to cover it without having to come to the councils to volunteer.
Councillor Brown?
Seems a very old way, but I know that parkers do have a card system in their window,
Notice board.
notice board thing, and the co-op does as well.
That did until the fire today. Councillor
But
James.
registered the job centre, can you still do that? That's what I wish you to do.
That is indeed.
That's indeed, I was asked that question.
Indeed, it's the job centre.
So, in which case I would propose that we continue with cover rota basis for the team, whilst we continue to try and recruit, and that we also advertise far and wide. That's a proposal. Do I have a seconder? Seconded. Show of hands then, please. Thank you very much. Item 9, staff grievance, to receive a report from Frances Penfold Cook to progress her grievance. So Frances has written for us, and what she is asking is that she asks that Denby Parish Council come to the same conclusion as Winchester City Council, being that councillors Berry and Clay breached DPC's code of conduct by failing to behave in accordance with all of the council's legal obligations, alongside any requirements contained in council's policies, protocols and procedures relating to conduct. 2, failing not to knowingly do anything which might cause the council to breach any legislation. 3, failing to value the officers of the council and engaging with them in an appropriate manner. And 4, failing to always treat all people and organisations with respect and propriety, and that the 2 councillors should each apologise in writing to her for those breaches. And we are invited to discuss and determine action. Councillor Brown.
I fully uphold what Francis has written. I feel that they should have done it a long time ago. Should have apologised and should have done it a long time ago.
Thank you. Councillor Andrioli.
Just wondering whether we should have actually recorded the names on our recording for the meeting, but otherwise I agree with Councillor Brown.
Winchester have published the names in their documentation.
Okay, just checking.
And also when the monitoring officer spoke to Winchester City Council, she advised that it was best practice, and the words that she used were name and shame. Councillor Jones.
The only downside, of course, I totally agree with all your comments, and they should be asked to do that. But they so far refused to apologise verbally or in writing. And so it's hard to see what's going to change their minds, and therefore, by all means do it, but what happens if they don't?
It's not within our gift to impose any requirement. We can ask them to apologise. We can say that we feel it's the best thing for council if they apologise, and it is what Francis is asking us to ask of them. Councillor Brown?
I think Francis is asking for council's support in what she said, and we do. Well, I personally fully support it.
Okay, so she's asking us to come to the same conclusion as Winchester, that the 2 councillors should each apologise in writing and record it. It will be recorded in the minutes, which is what she did. So I propose that we ask the councillors to apologise in writing. I'm happy to write to those councillors again. I have written to them asking them to comply with Winchester's conclusion, but if we are concluding that we agree with Winchester's findings, that we can write to them again.
I'll second that.
Councillor Andrioli?
Query in terms of she is asking that the parish council come to the same conclusion. We are not all the parish council. This has come to FA&P because it's a grievance.
Indeed.
She's asking that the council agree with.
We are the personnel committee of council. We have delegated responsibility from council for
Personnel matters.
personnel matters.
I'm just querying, I'm more querying than anything. But yeah, I think we already all said that we agree.
Okay, show of hands then, please. Thank you very much. I will write Item 10 is the HR review, to receive a report from the parish clerk. So we have the report in front of us. We've had a grounds team working practices review, which has resulted in revision of work schedules and amended job descriptions. We have completed some disciplinary processes. We have one member of team under occupational health. We have migration of the warden roles to a caretaker position. And we have a member of staff who's chosen redundancy as a result of that, and we are recruiting for the new caretaker role. And we are upgrading key employment documentation, i.e. contract of employment, the employee handbook, and those documents have been reviewed by legal. And we are therefore aligning council policies and practices, including our lone working policies, sickness absence, other absences, health and safety, medical questionnaires. And the transition to the new council employment documentation and policies and practices will be happening from October 23. And the transition process has been advised by our legal person. So that action is ongoing. Yeah. Item 11 is succession planning, to receive a report from the parish clerk and the RFO to discuss and determine action. So the RFO has requested to reduce her hours to 15 hours per week from the 1st of November. Members may remember that she used to work 15 hours and increased it to 20 to help us through a period. And that is with a view to possibly retiring within the next 3 years. So she reduced her hours from 20 to 15. The RFO to train the parish clerk in the day-to-day work of the RFO, and this will allow cover when the RFO is not at work. To research the use of an accountant to carry out the following work: management accounts, monthly and year ends. The recommendations are to research the use of an accountant and to update councillors outside of the committee to allow for a decision within the deadline for a reduction in hours. I think we can agree the reduction in hours here, so it's not outside of committee.
Yes, and then Jenny and I have sat down and, talked about this accountant, and we would like to sort of have further talks with them. And Jenny is of the recommendation that we trial them. She's very confident in their ability. We have brainstormed it every which way we can. It's up, as you can see, I would need to get some more information from these accountants and bring it to you outside of committee for you to agree the process, which is the second bit. It's more sort of the decision out of committee is allowing for me to give you the information as FA&P for the accountants and for you to agree that we start to use them, and that Jenny obviously is the person that will be overseeing all of this with my support, and obviously the reduction in hours if it's going to be a huge work in progress. They're going to be working remotely, not coming into the office, so which is hugely beneficial.
I've got some questions about that, but Councillor Andrioli.
Well, firstly, reference is to accountants, to the accountants. Surely we need quotes from 3 sets of accountants to take on the work. My other point would be that, notwithstanding another item on the agenda, I'm not happy that the clerk to the council is expected to take on, even in the short term, a 5-hour difference. Yes, the clerk should know how to do the day-to-day financial transactions or whatever, but it is, we have ever since before I was on this council, first on this council, always had an RFO because we have such a large budget and we are a large council. I don't have a problem with sourcing that differently, but I do not want to see that role land on the clerk.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Jones.
The comment about having to get 3 accountants, I think if you're getting 3 accountants, you're in effect getting 3 accountants to quote for all the work the accountant can currently do for us. We already have a group of 7 accountants who obviously we have for year end and so on. And so do we really have to go out? No.
We don't have any accountants currently. Jenny does all of that for us. So what Jenny is suggesting is that we have an accountant to fill in for those 5 hours by taking the year-end accounts and the monthly month-end accounts and the management accounts from her.
So there's no set of accountant we would automatically go to?
We don't have a set of accountants currently. We have independent auditors, but we don't
The
have any accountants.
auditors are normally a group of accountants who obviously know the business, and that's the logical step to go to. But okay.
I echo Councillor Andrioli's thoughts. We are a very large council in terms of for parishes in terms of budget, and I think it's too much for one person. I agree with Councillor Andrioli that the clerk should have the helicopter view of what needs to go on with the accounts, but the work needs to actually be done separately.
I have no intention of taking on the 5 hours. It's just literally so I know what's going on. And if I need to do orders for payments while Jenny is away, then I now have all the banking authorisations. When Jenny eventually does retire, then we will need to recruit for an RFO. I have absolutely no intention of doing that. This bit here that says the RFO will train the parish on the day-to-day RFO work is just literally, this will allow cover when the RFO is not around. Because at the moment, if Jenny does want to take a long holiday, like she said, she feels that she cannot because the council have no way of paying.
No, absolutely. Councillor Brown?
I'm happy if the accountants that Jenny that you've found, if Jenny is happy with them and it meets our regulations in the fact we don't have to get 3, which I'm sure she would brought that up, that we go with them on a trial basis to get the ball rolling. We'll soon know if they can do what we want them to do. But I also think that we should be quite soon looking to advertise the post of the RFO.
I would be comfortable if we had someone on a longer handover from Jenny. I mean, to be honest, even if they are working to help out with the 5 hours, I would be happy if someone was in the office. I've got a concern with someone being remote, that they're not there if anyone comes in and wants to query something, because we always say that anybody can come in and look at the accounts at any time. So I have a concern. Are they a local company?
Let me give you a little bit of an update. These are we are not the first council to do this, and I was amazed when I went out onto my clerks' network of how many councils don't have. We are one of the very few with such a large precept that leave it all to the RFO, who is especially as part-time. So these do people as big as Bognor Regis, and they do West End, who are 500,000, bigger than us. They just do parish councils. And what I would say to you is, I've got very minimal information. This number 4 here is that I get the research and that we bring them in to talk to you if you feel the need to, but it would be that I would send you the information as I would with anything. What I would say is that Jenny and I have brainstormed this remote thing because at first we were a bit unsure, but actually the more we think about it, that if Jenny has someone in the office, she's going to feel that she is going to be on Overwatch and she'll be doing more hours. So we did a to and fro here, and the other thing is that we don't have anywhere to put anybody. And if Jenny had someone in for those 5 hours, she would feel like she was constantly wanting it done the way that she does it, when actually they will be able to make Sage, which we have, work for us in ways that Jenny doesn't know how to because she isn't a trained accountant. if I may, Chair, recruiting for Jenny now, I feel would not be wise. She hasn't even said she wants to retire yet.
I'm not talking immediately. I'm talking in the.
But I totally agree that a handover should be at least 6 months. That's kind of. But yeah,
Councillor Brown.
I think we need more than 6 month handover because we've seen what happened with the handover of the head groundsman. 6 months isn't long enough to get your head around the way this council works.
Sorry to interrupt. My thoughts are, because it's a yearly process, we would need probably a 12-month handover. Sorry, Councillor Brown.
I also, I don't have a problem with the accountants working remotely. Anyone who wishes to see the accounts should be making an appointment anyway, shouldn't just be turning up in the office. I thought that was the thing, that we don't have people just turning up in the office, and it was by appointment.
Councillor James?
I totally endorse 12 months. I'm sure Jenny would basically say to her, we need as much notice as possible when you intend to retire. And we need a minimum of 12 months. If that's okay with you, and I'm sure she'll understand that. That way you don't have to advertise while she's still employed.
Councillor Brown?
Well, it is a thing, also the fact of finding someone. It could take us a year to find someone. That's the thing. So it's not wishing Jenny to go or anything.
No, most definitely
we
not.
We don't want to be caught in the lurch.
But isn't that why you have a set of accountants able to do all the work that she does? So if there's any delay in terms of that handover, you basically have to rely on the accountants who have been doing that for the last, hopefully, 3 years.
Okay, so the recommendations are that we research the use of an accountant, and Sarah comes back to us with further details on the accountant, and we can get them in to talk to us should we so choose. That's a proposal. Seconded by Councillor Jones. Show of hands then, please. Thank you, that's unanimous. Item 12 is DPC admin support, to recruit an admin person within the DPC office team. Minute reference 04523 FA&P. This was put on hold for a little while. However, with the workload that's coming through the office at the moment, Sarah has realised that now would be the best time to advertise and recruit, as per the previous resolution, and therefore that is to note. Item 13 is body-worn cameras. We are invited to review the current body-worn video camera policy. Minute 03122C relates to discuss and determine actions. So this policy was written when we first purchased the body-worn cameras. They haven't actually been used, but we realised, well, council knew that they should be used. The ground staff were somewhat reticent, I think it's fair to say. However, we are invited to adopt this policy. There are some changes needed, namely in the fact that it mentions the operations manager. So we just need to amend the job title in there to reflect that it's to yourself and not the deputy operations manager. Does anyone have any further comments on these?
I discussed this because we never actually have a resolution for the ground team to be wearing body cameras. This was taken from the resolution for in vehicles.
It's in vehicles, yes. So the previous resolution related, or the previous resolution was for cameras to be installed in vehicles. However, when they installed the cameras in the vehicles, we realised that the vibration from the tractor is so great that the camera can't actually see anything. So we then migrated from in-vehicle to on-body cameras, except the resolution wasn't reflecting, it wasn't a wide enough resolution. So we're invited to actually have a body-worn camera policy, which we wrote, we just didn't actually have a council resolution. Councillor Brown and then Councillor James.
Well, I was going to make a proposal that we accept this because they should be being worn.
It's just going to be an issue with staff who are saying they don't want to wear them then.
I believe staff now understand the benefits of wearing the body-worn cameras.
No, because this policy offers training and stuff, and none of that has happened.
they will be trained as per this policy. So if we adopt this as the policy, then that will become council policy, and the staff will wear the cameras as per the policy, and they will be trained in the use of the policy, in the use of the cameras as per the policy. Councillor Brown?
I agree with what I've just said. Those we accept to adopt this policy and put the training in place as soon as possible.
Seconded by Councillor Jones. Can I have a show of hands then, please? That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 13 is the confidential report. To pass a resolution in accordance with the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act of 1960 to exclude the public and press for discussion of a confidential report relating to the following: matters relating to a staff member's resignation. B, matters relating to a current licence and ongoing costs. C, matters relating to a report on the ongoing defamation of DPC. D, matters relating to a full-time contract for a member of the grounds team. E, matters relating to a meeting with the monitoring officer. F, matters relating to the annual review and incentive scheme. G, matters relating to staff members' salaries. And H, matters relating to all staff salaries. So move.